Well, that is ridiculous. There you are in a lovely convertible car driving through the countryside and you have to put up with that racket. Clearly, I've got to sort that out. There's something wrong with the exhaust. And to have a look, I need to get the car up on the ramp. Well, I think I know where the problem is. First of all, we've got this problem with the silencer at the back here. It's actually not in such bad nick, but there is quite a bit of corrosion around the back of it here. If I go a bit further on, there's a link here. It's also really rusty. There's a few little pinholes, so there's probably exhaust coming out of there as well. Go a bit further back, it's like to this resonator or perhaps silencer, and you can see all this heat shield is already rusted away, but also around the back, I can actually see physical holes.
Oh dear, the exhaust is much worse than I thought. The only answer is to drop it off and replace all sections apart from the manifold. It's not that difficult a job, but it will take some time and much more money than I was expecting.
Now this next bit's going to get a little heavy, so I'm going to get Paul to give us a hand. So Paul, pop in here if you could. Just going to get him to hold the exhaust. I'm going to just take off these last two rubber mounts. Oh, very useful tool this, saves losing your fingers. There's the other one. Okay, now, just lower this down. Just, yeah, if you get that end and just see, this is where we're going to try and feed the exhaust through that steering idler arm. Which way do you want to go down a bit? There we go, look at that. Oh, that's a very heavy exhaust. Well, a very heavy scrap exhaust. Time for the new one.
I'm choosing not to use original Mercedes spares. We need to save money and cheaper pattern parts came in at £395. First, I'm fitting the downpipes to the manifold.
Well, this is the clamp that holds this downpipe to the engine manifold, and basically you can see there, it's got like a kind of a ball and socket affair, which means you can kind of move it around to get a really perfect fit, and also means the exhaust will be in exactly the right position. So I just pop that up into here.
Access is difficult and the parts are heavy, so an extra pair of hands is really helpful.
Well, that's actually probably the hardest bit done. The downpipes are now attached to the manifold. So what we're going to have to do now is I'm now going to get some exhaust paste. Now this is pretty clever stuff, because basically it's all sort of soggy and gooey when you put it on, but then as the exhaust heats up, or in fact if you leave it long enough in just the air, it'll go rock hard, and that'll give it a perfect seal. There we go. Right. Now, a little top tip, when you put in these kind of exhaust clamps on, it does help if you can just to twist them around so they're just out of the flow of things like speed bumps, logs, rocks, that kind of stuff, just so they don't get ripped off and damage your exhaust. Also, don't go so far that they touch the underside of the car because they make a horrible rattling noise. So,
lastly, there's the rear silencer.
lift it up.
This final rubber mount will stop the back box rattling, and our Merc is going to sound the way it should.
Well, after all that work we had to do on the hood, that exhaust was so easy, it was great. So let's just see how good it sounds now. That is a beautiful thing, that really is.